everybody. I'm Sophia Parola with the Garden State Film Festival, and here with me is producer, director, and editor of the short documentary Squirrel Wars, Jill Morley. Jill, how you doing?
Great. How are you? I'm so excited to go to the festival and have
Oh,
everyone see it.
I
Yeah.
love to hear that you're going to be there. I'm so excited for people to see Squirrel Wars. I am honored I got to see it because I loved it. I was telling you before, I didn't know what to expect with the title, but very happy with the outcome. Before I get started with my questions, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Squirrel Wars?
Sure. Well, I've been a filmmaker for a long time. I've done feature documentaries, that kind of thing. And my friend Billy Madley, who's in the movie, told me a story about that is Squirrel Wars. And I thought that's like the most insane thing I ever heard. We have to make a movie about it. And then I was able to get screenshots of the things that happened. And it was during the pandemic. And I live in LA. So I used to live in New York. So I had a friend go, I paid this guy to go and interview her and shoot in her house and all this stuff. And I directed on FaceTime.
Wow. So
Yeah.
true pandemic like collaboration project.
Yeah. It's a for real
Wow.
2020 movie. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
yeah, and then he sent me the footage on a drive and I put it together. But really it's just her, she's so charismatic and she's so good on camera. And then the situation is basically a microcosm of 2020 of what happened,
Mhm.
but it's told through, a squirrel Facebook page.
It is insane. I mean, it's so much more than just like, I agree with, she has such big energy. Her personality was like transcending. I loved just watching her, but her story not only is like funny and cute and eye-opening, but obviously what the topic is like, I can't say I'm not surprised. So I just think the documentary is great. So thank you for making it. So you knew Billy Madley. This was a relationship that you guys had. So it wasn't hard to get her to say the story on camera.
No, I've known her for many years. She was actually my very first documentary I made a long time ago when I was 10 years old. No, I'm just kidding. I'm old. So I made it in 2001. So, but I mean, it was a long time. So I'd known her and I live in LA now, but I go back to New York a lot and I keep up with everybody who, I feel like I kind of grew up there.
Oh wow.
Um, and so she's one of the people I was keeping in touch with. And yeah, she had told me that story. And it starts off as really funny, but it gets dark really fast. And
Hmm.
that's like my jam.
Yeah, I love that dark humor and very
Yeah,
relevant, obviously. So,
right.
I mean, how long did it take when you heard this story and you thought, all right, let me make a documentary? And then how did this all come together? What was that length of time?
Well, I felt like God, the thing is because I've made feature documentaries, I know how hard it is. I know that like it costs money, it takes time. It's so,
Hmm.
but it was also something that I just couldn't let it go. And those are the stories that you need to make.
Hmm.
And I figured I could edit it. I had the time to edit it. So yeah, so that's how I went about doing it. But it was one of those things you just know when you have to tell the story and you're like obligated. It's not even like, oh, I want to make a movie. Usually I don't want to make a movie because
Yeah,
it's
there's a
too
lot of work
hard.
into it.
But then the story calls you and then you're like, oh no, I have to do it,
Yeah. So, I mean, what was it that called you to this story? Why did you decide, all right, let me put the time and the effort into making this and then submitting it to festivals? Why tell this story?
I guess it's just right up my alley. It's just like it's quirky, it's funny, it's dark, but it's also really universal and it
Mhm.
reflects what all of us have gone through. Um, it's kind of like in I don't want to say an allegory. It's kind of like I don't know. It's a universal way to tell this story, like through one person in her computer in New York City by herself.
Mhm.
It's like the experience that we've all had.
Absolutely. And the impact people can make just online, like there's a lot that you can say and do through cyberspace. It is crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like for you directing this on FaceTime? Like, uh, yeah, what was that process like?
Well, it was hard. I feel bad for Billy. She couldn't hear me sometimes, so
Mhm.
she did amazing considering, the restrictions that we had. And I had to look at all the shots, the framing, the screen, but also my DP, Evan Seplow, is really talented. I've been working with him for years as well, and I knew I could trust him to cover, what we needed to cover and get the footage that we needed to tell the story.
Wow, that's amazing. And is this like Billy's whole look? Is that just Billy? Did we collaborate? Because she like matches her house so well. Like, was that all her?
She used to be a stylist. She's
Oh,
a brilliant artist, and yeah, she was into fashion for a while. She's very, and she's very eccentric and unique. So
yeah.
that is Billy, and she wanted to wear that vote. You saw it says vote on it. Like
Hmm.
she wanted to like go full force.
Wow, amazing. I mean, everything about the film is just so great, but like simple but great, and I really enjoyed it. How was the getting the squirrel footage that you have, not only that we had the day of, I guess he shot some squirrels and then also online. What was that like?
Okay, well, the sad story was, okay, so she really had squirrels running around her backyard, but then I think the owner of the building killed them. I know. So they had to go to
Oh
the
my
park
gosh.
and shoot
What?
at the park. I know, horrible, horrible. But they
Oh
went to the
no.
park and the squirrels were so used to the people there feeding them that they were able to come up to her. And she now has like a whole squirrel lady thing going on. So they somehow know it.
Wow. Oh my God, amazing. But there was footage of a squirrel like in her house, I believe, in the
Yeah,
documentary.
she
Wow.
trained it to come in through the window and run through her apartment and go out the door to her garden.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's so unique. What a unique documentary and a unique person that Billy is. Um, so my last question for you to wrap up this interview is, how did you hear about the Garden State Film Festival? And I mean, how does it feel having Squirrel Wars at the festival this year?
I'm from New Jersey and I've never had a film play in New Jersey, which is crazy because I've been doing this a long time.
Wow.
So I met actually one of the founders at the Newport Beach Film Festival. And yeah, and I realized that one of the friends I grew up with was like, also worked with the festival at some point. And so yeah, we submitted and we're just so happy we got in. My parents still live there. I still have some friends there. And so I'm excited to go back. I'm proud of my New Jersey roots.
Oh, me too. I love meeting New Jersey natives and New Jersey filmmakers, and I'm so happy that Squirrel Wars is going to be at the festival this year. I really hope I can meet you at the festival.
Yeah, me too. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, well, congratulations again. Shout out to your DP, to Billy, everyone involved in making this documentary. It's an amazing, amazing piece. So, congrats.
Okay, thanks so
Oh,
much.
before we sign off, let me tell everyone how they can watch Squirrel Wars. That'll be important. So you can watch Squirrel Wars virtually with an all virtual pass that we have at the Garcia Film Festival, $44.95, or you can watch it in person. It'll be screening at the Berkeley Hotel in the Continental Room, Saturday, March 26th in the film block, 7:45 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So it'll be amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Sophia. Take care.
You too.